Okay. I'm just gonna go in and check my layers. I see this. Oh, that's like a hole. That's what that is. I was wondering why is that popping through? Okay, so this part needs to get filled in. Fantastic. There we go. All right. Let's paint some trees. I think this spot right here is a really good spot for a possible tree. Again, do your freaking research, huh? Now, we got some choices on trees. You can either do a heavily stylized tree like that game Chris, you know. Uh, do you guys remember the trees? Look at how like magical. What is this? That's a tree? What? That might be taking it a bit far, but we could like go heavily stylized if we wanted to. There was that one movie we were looking at the other day, Claws. Movie. Uh, back. Remember this one? Look at the trees here. Look how beautiful that looks. Look at that tree. That's also very stylized, right? You don't have to go literal, necessarily. Um, any preferences? Anybody? I kind of like this. I think this is really
it's stylized, but it's realistic.
right. It still looks like a tree. This looks great too. Look at that. Okay, let's do that maybe because we're so snowy. I think that might be good. Copy image and now paste. So again, this is our what do they call it? Like a style board or a mood board, reference board. This is something you should just do all the time, right? If you're gonna be creating a piece of art, start collecting, inspirational stuff because, we get blocked as artists sometimes. Like, I don't know what to do next. Well, if you've got something to look at, you could riff off of it, either as a jumping off point to go more in that direction or something where you go, not really what I want, so I need to avoid that. But again, that's a jumping off point. So let's take a look at some of this. Alright, so just gonna start creating a tree shape. I'm gonna start off kind of, I guess the philosophy here is the wind could be blowing from the right to the left, and then that could maybe sway some of our trees a little bit. Um, a little bit of that can really bring movement into a piece. Um, and the way to think about a tree is there's a whole there's a whole art to this. It starts off as a middle branch, and then smaller branches sprout out of it. Right. So very rarely will you get a thick branch, thin branch, and then another thick branch up here. You know, it'll just kind of start descending into thinner and thinner branches.
What is that called in math?
I don't know.
Greater
I'm pretty sure there's some like I don't know some Mandelbrot set formula that shows you how chaos moves and all this. I'm not sure, but what I'm talking about with Mandelbrot set stuff are fractals. Do you guys know about fractals? Oh man, it's a whole other conversation. But they think that chaos actually has a formula. Yeah. So basically, these repeated things are fractal images, and they're based off of a mathematical formula called the Mandelbrot set, and a lot of things in nature form this way naturally, and people have brought up this and that, and it's almost like did he find the formula that figures out how things are constructed? I don't know, but it's crazy. Anyway, it's something cool to think about as far as a motif goes, but I don't know. You can get into a lot of other things past that point. Sure. Let me just fill that in for now. I like this. Oh shoot! No, not there. Here. No. Layer. Fill that in. All right. See how I just kind of selected this, and you can cheat. You can hit select a branch you like. Here, hit Control J, and what that'll do is take that selection and copy it up into a new layer. And I don't know, maybe if you don't see the repeated aspect of it, you might be able to get away with putting another branch here. You don't want parallel lines though, so you need to make it a little bit. There's an art form to making something look natural. It's kind of like, hey, I want you to draw like a pile of rocks right now. Well, if you arrange the rocks the wrong way, it can look like a person, placed the rocks. But if you want the rocks to look natural, there's a whole art form to doing that. And it comes out of experience, seeing a lot of rocks, I guess. So that's pretty cool. Let's do some more trees. I'm just gonna do trees on each tree on a separate layer, and you don't want to repeat yourself too much. So I'm just gonna make the second tree much larger. And a little bit darker. Oh, it needs to be in front of the other one if that's gonna pull off the illusion. Something like that. And So when things like this happen, what it looks like is, hey, there used to be two branches here, one broke off, right? And then there's just a nub or something like that. Now, how stylized do we want to go? So far, this looks very realistic. But if we really wanted to go stylized, then we can create one of those things. So the way you can do that, create a new layer. Let's create like a circle, something like that, right? And you could just paint this part in with like a hard brush, like this, right? You could start off your branches kind of like this, go off, and you just keep splitting it into two. And then you make sure that it kind of ends thinner than it started. Like you don't want it to end thicker than it started. So you just split each one of these into two or three little things like this. See how I'm doing this? How I made a selection first? And I'm just kind of going to the end of it.
That's the spherical?
Yeah, like the branches that kind of, dead branches that kind of end up in a spherical pattern. And I'm painting this in by hand. This is our, if we wanted to go stylized, this is our chance. And if we look at it and go, nah, save for a different picture. Try not to waste art.
Are you gonna like move it?
Yeah, yeah. I just want something that's a complete circle right now, so that when I move it later, how that works. I kind of don't like this part. Let me erase that out again. Yeah, something like this. All right. See, that's pretty. You know, fix a couple of this and that. Yeah, why not? So we could put some on the ground.
And you can copy that thing?
Yeah, so just Control J, copies up the layer. And this one we could probably repeat a little bit. Let's see. Let's make this one a little darker so we can see it. Right? Something like that. And then before I shrink it, I want to copy it, put it off somewhere here. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be like the same all the time. Remember that warp tool we had before? You could play around with that too. You could like flatten out. You know, you don't want to warp it too much, but you could. That way it doesn't always feel like the same thing. You know? And you could put in another thing off in the distance. Kind of lighter. As it goes off.
Then when you press Control U, that pops up, right?
Hmm?
The saturation.
Yeah, Control U.
But when you push
And
Control Alt, it does the everything like
That's levels, yeah. That's only dealing with contrast. So, this thing over here, that could be used on the tree. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? You try it and you don't like it. You have to. Yeah, why not? And I'm just gonna try to integrate this somehow. I don't know. Kind of fudge it. Why not? I meant for this to happen the whole time. That thing where I said, like, yeah, you don't want it to get thicker up here. So now I gotta thicken down here, darn it. Which means I gotta thicken this guy as well. That's fine. Find this tree, yep. Bring it down here. Merge these two. Let's see. I think I don't know. This should be much larger. This is a wonderful thing about playing with shapes, right? But you don't want it to get too busy, because then your eye's going to want to go there, too. So, yeah, I think the mountain's the focal point. So over here, this is almost like a, it's kind of, think of it like a teeter-totter, you know, like a seesaw, where, yeah, like right now, this composition just drops off on the right-hand side. And you kind of need like a little kid sitting at the end of the seesaw or something, you know, just to kind of like bring you back, or give that side some interest, and then go, okay, you know. I'm not thrilled about the color of the snow yet. I'm wondering if I should just go white with it.
Not white for the foreground.
Possibly.
A little darker, or just a tad darker than me.
I think so. I think you may be right. It's tricky. Values and colors. Few times been around that block. Yeah. I just remember that from SSX. The snowboarding game. Yeah. Alright. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. If we wanted to, you know, on top of all this cool detail and stuff, we could also add in the clumps of snow and all that as well. But in lieu of that, I'd like for us to start thinking about lighting, right? So that will come next. So, okay.